10 years ago, the mood in our studio was definitely a bit more hectic as the Okanagan Mountain Park fire was kind of taking over all of the headlines. I was on mat leave and had very little to do with it, but you guys were definitely in the thick of it all.
Yeah, it was a busy moment, and it was scary in some respects. You know, when those flames kicked up just at the same time that they were hitting the houses in that area in Crawford and Oakview and that kind of thing. And I always remember going in there afterwards and seeing these houses completely gone. All you could see was an empty basement and some appliances and that kind of thing, and houses right beside them untouched. Not even the siding was melted or something like that. I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, it was crazy for me because I was actually volunteering at the time. I was like 3 months out of college, and all of a sudden I'm thrown into this, and I was actually working nights at the time, like apart from the media. And I remember getting home at like 4 a.m. and thinking, okay, I got to set my alarm for like 7 because if the city's going to burn down, I want to be there to cover it. And that's what it felt like. It felt like the city was going to burn down at some point.
And one of my first stories back after mat leave was doing the Army base that had set up in the Apple Bowl. So I got a small taste of it, but it was kind of hard to wrap your head around just how big it was at the time.
Well, even when it's happening, when it's happening, you understand, but you don't understand what it's going to be like 10 years later. You know, that it's going to be the biggest thing. You always think when it's happening, okay, this is an event, you know, and it's going to happen again, but
yeah. I mean, it was national news, and it was international. American TV stations from Seattle were up here. I had relatives in Germany that said, what's going on in Kelowna, right? We had 33,000 people evacuated, the second largest evacuation in Canadian history. And I read recently that they considered at one point evacuating the entire city, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, and I remember watching the stories you guys were doing, and I mean, everybody did such a great job, but it must have been hard at times too, though.
Yeah, it was. It was one of those things where, you know, we had people staying at our house too. So, you know, it was a case of, you know, just get out whenever you can and get some reports out there and get the information to the people, because that was the critical thing, right? Get that information to the people, they needed it.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have time to stop and think and, you know, think about what's happening, because you're just thinking about what you have to do next. You're not thinking about, oh yeah, these houses burned down and look at these people. You're just out there trying to get the information to the people so it doesn't hit you until after, because you're just so busy.
Never even had a chance to make a box full of valuables or anything, right?
Yeah.
In case we got evacuated.
Yeah, which it felt like, I think at one point almost everybody was about to be, or everyone knew someone who was evacuated.
I think a lot of things have been learned from that instance now.
Definitely.
The big thing I notice is that when there's a fire now in the Okanagan, it's hit hard and fast.
They don't leave it.
Yeah, they don't leave it. And so little fires are easier to put out than big fires, right? Yeah. So I mean, I think that's the big thing that we learned from that.
Which makes me grateful, because right behind my house is a giant forest.
Yeah.